Reduce, reuse, recycle. Heard that line before? Recycling and reducing the amount of waste which has to be buried in the ground as landfill should be one of the most important tasks that we do each day. We have an amazing natural environment, and it's up to us to keep it that way for future generations. Let's find out more about the services in Darwin which help to make recycling easy for all of us. Why is recycling such a big deal, I hear you ask? Well, recycling matters. Let me break it down for you. This is a garbage truck, and it can carry about 6 tonnes of compacted or squished rubbish. That's a lot of waste. In the Darwin region, we throw away about 30,000 garbage trucks full of compacted waste each year. So now you can start to see why recycling is so important. If we don't start recycling more, we may end up with more rubbish than we have land to bury it in. Did you know the average Aussie family of 4 typically throws away enough rubbish each year that they could completely fill a 3-bedroom house from floor to the ceiling? Imagine living in that! Now, for the good news fact. Yes, it's true. Recycling is taking place right here in Darwin. So let's learn more about some of the recycling services which are available and how you can be the ultimate recycler without even raising a sweat. How you bin it will make the difference between whether your waste can be sorted for reuse and recycling or end up going to landfill. By reducing, reusing and recycling more, you can help keep what needlessly goes to landfill to a minimum. So let's manage our waste for a greener future and help make Darwin a cleaner and a more sustainable city for future generations. The City of Darwin provides 2 main services for the Darwin region. Firstly, your yellow top recycling bin, which is collected from your home. And secondly, there's a Shoal Bay waste management facility. Here you'll find more recycling options as well as the recycle shop and the Shoal Bay mulch. They even make electricity at Shoal Bay. But more on that later. In the meantime, let's have a close look at exactly how these recycling services work. Let's start with the Materials Recovery Facility, otherwise known as a MRF. Check out all this recycling. What you put in your yellow top bin at home is collected from your curbside and brought here to the MRF. These trucks collect from the yellow top bins and empty the full load out for sorting into the right groups. Different recyclables are processed and are used to make different things. So the most important part of the recycling process is to separate each item type. It goes without saying that a steel can can't be reused to make paper, so there's no point sending the steel can to the paper making factory. Let's stop the tour for a minute so we can look at what the different recyclable types are. The main types of recyclables are paper, cardboard, all types of plastic containers, aluminium and steel cans, glass bottles and jars. On the subject of paper making, did you know that up to 60% less energy is needed to make recycled paper than paper made from virgin pulp? That's mushed up tree. Okay, let's get back to the separation process. How do they get all the mixed up recyclables separated and into the right groups? It's awesome how this happens. Check it out. The recyclables go into a big spinning sieve called a trommel. Small non-paper things such as broken glass and other bits fall through the holes and land in bins. The larger non-paper items land on a bouncing conveyor belt. Paper and cardboard go all the way through the trommel onto another conveyor belt. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out perfectly. And while the machines are great, there are still mixed recyclables and contaminants ending up on the conveyor belts. This is why there are 3 sorting stations along the conveyor belt, which is where recyclables are hand sorted to make sure glass is with glass, cardboard and paper are together, and plastics go to the right place, and so on. It is so important not to mix up the recyclables. Anything that can't be recycled at this stage is known as a contaminant. Contaminants include items such as green waste and food scraps, nappies and plastic bags. All contaminants are put into a general waste bin and sent to landfill. Did you know that plastic bags and everything tied up inside plastic bags cannot be recycled at the MRF? So even if a plastic bag is full of great recyclables, the plastic bag is taken off the belt and put into the general waste bin and then sent to landfill, as it can't be opened for health and safety reasons. Not cool, right? The sorting station people need our help, so spread the word. Don't put plastic bags in the yellow top bin. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, the sorting stations. What's left continues onto the second and third sorting station, which concentrates on taking any leftover glass, cardboard or plastic items off the belt and into separate product containers. There is also a giant magnet which helps out by repelling all steel cans off the belt and into big cages. At the end of all this sorting, the paper, cardboard, plastic, steel and aluminium are baled up and sent for reprocessing into things like recycled paper, plastic bottles or new aluminium and steel cans. Remember, the materials recovery facility sorts out what we put into the yellow top bins. They want heaps of recyclables, not heaps of general waste. You can see now why it is so very important for us to make sure we only put items into the yellow top bins which can be sorted for recycling at the MRF. Which means no green waste, no food scraps or liquids, and definitely no plastic bags. Did you know that places like childcare centres and preschools love reusing materials for craft? You may even do this in your own class. I bet that you too have made the most amazing creations, from plastic lids of small boxes and tubes. Have you ever tried making things with old CDs and DVDs? Amazing! Someone's trash is a young kid's treasure. Think about collecting a few bagfuls to donate to your local childcare centre or preschool. Or check with your teacher to see if you can bring recyclables along for your class's art time. Okay, here we go. Back to what we put into our yellow top bins. All plastic containers after they've been rinsed out and their lids have been taken off, cardboard, magazines, junk mail and paper, steel and aluminium cans, rinse first, and aerosols, lids off first. Glass bottles and jars, you know it, rinsed if needed and lids taken off. Okay, now we know what's what, let's see how we go about getting it right in our own home. You'll find recyclables in all rooms in your home, not just in the kitchen. See? Nothing to it. Something to remember though. Everything must be thrown into the bin loose. Not one plastic bag in sight. You can even go one step further with reducing your household waste. Why not set up a composting bin or a worm farm in your own backyard to make fertiliser out of your food scraps? Let's recap. These are the recyclables that go in the yellow top bin. Nothing else. No green waste, no food scraps or liquids, and definitely no plastic bags. Awesome stuff happening there with our yellow top bins. But the war against waste doesn't stop there, my friends. Have you ever been to the Shoal Bay waste management facility? You may have been out there with a trailer full of palm fronds or other waste from the garden. This place is critical for recycling in Darwin. There is so much going on. They sure are working hard to reduce, reuse, recycle. The first thing you should do when you visit Shoal Bay is to stop off at the recycling shop before you head to the weighbridge. You can drop off a whole stack of extra things for recycling that you can't put in your yellow top bin, like scrap metal, white goods, TVs, old computers and screens, car batteries, plastic bags, even old furniture you don't need anymore. Just like with the yellow top bins, everything is easier when we sort out our recyclables before we bin them. Well, it's the same at Shoal Bay. Sort out your load at home before you make the trip. Put your green waste at the bottom and place recyclables on the top of the green waste so you can drop them off at the recycle shop before you take your palm fronds over the weighbridge for mulch. You can then take any non-recyclable items to the transfer station and put them into the skip bins to be taken for landfill. Get this! Did you know up to 90% of a computer's component parts can be recycled. And between 80 to 90% of white goods can be recycled. However, before fridges, freezers and air conditioners can be recycled, gases in the units used for cooling need to be removed as they are very harmful to the environment. This degassing process takes place at Shoal Bay. One more good reason to make sure that you do the right thing and bring your white goods into the recycle shop and not to landfill. You can also recycle your household goods here. Good to know if you have filled up your yellow top bin at home. Best of all, heaps of things are available for us to buy at the recycle shop at bargain prices and reuse at home. So remember, stop here at the recycle shop first. Check this place out. What a range! Such variety. Spare bike parts, anyone? Even though we are keen and active recyclers, the fact is that contaminated recyclables and other general waste still exists and still needs to be buried as landfill. But at the Shoal Bay, that's not the end of the story. Oh no, recyclers, it's not. That's because even after the waste is buried, the methane gas that is produced naturally from the decomposing rubbish is captured and turned into electricity, right here in Darwin. The electricity then goes into the power supply that comes into our houses. But how does that all happen? Well, let's start at the beginning. Shoal Bay has 3 landfill areas. The waste deposited by the garbage trucks is compressed using a large piece of machinery called a compactor. Throughout the area, big pipes, known as wells, are set deep into the landfill. Way underground in the landfill, the waste materials are decomposing and breaking down, a process which produces a gas called methane. Yep, go on, have a giggle. You've heard of methane gas before, haven't you? All living things, including cows, also produce methane gas. Back to being serious. These wells connect to a pipe that suck the methane gas over to this big machine called a power module. This is where the gas is converted into electricity. See that box up on the power pole? That's what feeds the electricity back into the power lines which come to our houses. Did you know that around 1,800 Darwin houses are powered from the electricity made from the landfill methane gas at Shoal Bay? How cool is that? So even though we'll always produce general waste, at Shoal Bay they can make use of it. Oh, and you know those palm fronds and other garden waste you drop off on the weekend? That stuff is called green waste, and it is turned into the different types of mulch that is just magic for our gardens. Just to make sure there is no stray metal or plastic bags in your green waste, as these can do serious damage to the machinery. It's fantastic what's happening here with recycling right here in Darwin, and it all starts with what we do at home. You can see how easy it is for us to play a part in the recycling process just by thinking about how your waste can be reused or recycled. Just a quick reminder of what can go into the yellow top bins: paper, cardboard, all types of plastic containers, aluminium and steel cans, glass bottles and jars. There are so many ways to reduce, reuse and recycle, and in this film we have covered the main services provided by the City of Darwin. But there are many other ways for you to recycle more here in Darwin. And you can find out more by visiting the City of Darwin website. And don't forget Shoal Bay, where someone's trash can become someone else's treasure. Now, it's over to you lot. Remember, every action you take makes a difference and will help make our beautiful environment a cleaner, greener place for future generations. Happy recycling!